Welcome back to LCS weeks, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, in just 6 days, well, actually, I think 5 days from the time of posting this video, we will finally have LCS matches again. Shopify is going to get to play for the first time in 3 months. I mean, that's, great. So I know what you might be thinking. Why are you sitting down instead of standing up? Well, today we're talking about the hot seat. 5 players, teams, situations, people beyond that are all in a hot seat coming into the spring split, because with Worlds in North America this year, there's a bigger spotlight on our region than there normally is, at least for those of us that are around and care about it. Orgs very much want to make sure that they're going to Worlds and giving themselves the best chance possible. We want to put the best foot forward in terms of the product going into Worlds on our home soil. So we're going to talk about the 5 people or 5 things that could see change, significant change, if things do not improve from where they were at the end of lock-in, or at least as of their current state going into this split. We will start off with the one that everybody was talking about for the last few months, and that is the C9 core. And I believe that they are in the hot seat because if they don't make MSI, there will be a change. I know people are going to come in and be like, what do you mean make a change? They don't even have any money to do that. There's nobody. No, I'm telling you right now, Jack, if they miss an international event, when there's 2 teams that will make it, so all you have to do is make finals this split. If you can't finish top 2 in an 8-team league with a roster of vets like this, yes, Jack will 100% pull the trigger on a change, dish out a little bit of the war chest in order to make sure that they are reinvigorated at least a little bit going into Worlds. And I don't think that falls on the shoulders of APA, who's here for a single year. But I do think it falls on the core that after listening to the interview that Cloud Sicky did with I Will Dominate, the fact that these vets do not know how to play from behind is absolutely wild to me. Like, I can't fathom that idea that, like, you are the guys that should have the most experience there and you somehow can't get it done. I don't get that at all. But I think the pressure is on C9, and it's going to be hard to tell because, like, they could have a fantastic regular season. If you need a reminder of the format, again, it is 7 best of 3s against all the other teams in the league, which feeds into a playoff system with 6 teams. So only 2 get eliminated. I don't think C9's at risk of that, but it is going to be more telling once we get to playoffs to see if C9 can retain their form. We'll be checking over the next few weeks to see, okay, what is their playstyle? What are they going for? Have they mixed it up from lock-in, which very much was this kind of like get ahead, play from ahead, and if they fell behind, well, they were in a little bit of trouble, and their macro play was not the greatest, but that could have only been a single series, and maybe just the America's Cup. Who knows? Either way, if they don't make it to the finals and do not make it to MSI, yes, I fully expect there will be a change. So C9 is on the hot seat. Real quick, cutting in to say, if you haven't done so already, be sure to consider dropping a like on the video and subscribing to the channel. I put out 3 videos a week every single week, as well as co-streams for the LCS and beyond. All of my short-form TikTok content will be here as well, and YouTube's just a good centralized hub, so I appreciate you clicking the button if you do. Anyways, back to the video. Sticking with the idea of a core, I'm going to go with all of Shopify. Like, every single player but Zinni is on the hot seat, and that also includes Revan, DeMonte, and the coaching staff behind everything as well, because apparently they dished out some money to get Zinni. I don't know if the cost of the rest of their roster was all that high, but at the end of the day, they didn't win a single game in lock-in. And if you watch their documentary series, which was fantastic, by the way, it was like an hour in length. If you have the time, go through and watch it. There was a really telling moment to me where Fudge and Coach Revan basically came in, and Revan said, I think you guys are doing this thing based on scrims. Like, it is a continuation of something that we saw in scrims. And Fudge is like, no, this is completely different than what we did in scrims. And there was a disagreement of philosophy, which I think was really interesting to watch, because it's like, if you have disagreements of philosophy and that carries through, one of the 2 pieces is going to have to change there. Now, that could just be what they're showing. It's impossible to fully take everything based off of, like, clips that are coming into those interviews, but, like, it's very clear that you need to bounce back quickly if you're the Shopify squad. You cannot put Zinni in an atmosphere, an environment that is just going to crumble around him, especially when he does need time and does need veteran leadership to make sure that he is able to develop, and you have to give him the full year. If that means you need to change pieces around him to make sure that that piece develops into the stud that you need him to be, you absolutely do that. And I think there is this underlying expectation that this team could make a run for Worlds by the end of the year. And if you have to make some sort of change to get there, I think that they will. And you just cannot be scared to put new people in new environments. especially if philosophies are clashing in some way, shape, or form. So, yeah, I'm going to say all of Shopify is on the hot seat. If people aren't playing good or behind the scenes, there's issues. I'm sure all of that will come to light within the next 7 weeks, and we'll find out. If Shopify misses playoffs, period, like, oh God, I don't know where their barometer is of success. Like, I wouldn't expect Shopify to make MSI, but I would expect them to try and be like top four. And if you're not top four, or at least not like close to it, then I think that's your like metric for making that change. This next one's going to be a tough one for some people, but I think most understand at this point. Yon JJ is in the hot seat right now. You are supposed to be the best bot lane in the league, which you apparently are in Scrim. And when you look at the other bot lanes like Berserker and Isles, you look at C9 with Sven and Vulcan, you look at Huhi and Rahel for Sentinels. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's no reason why Yon JJ should not be the best bot lane in the league. And I am worried about Core JJ just not being able to get back to that form that he needs to be. And there's this underlying worry that, like, maybe you needed to make some sort of change there and move Core JJ into a coaching role. Because I don't see Core JJ ever leaving the Team Liquid organization. I don't think that makes sense, especially if he wants to stay here in North America. But this bot lane needs to just be not only demolishing people in lane if they're going to pick for these early game comps, which they seem to enjoy doing and just smashing people, but if they're going to scale, I need to see better back row decisions. I need to see the team being more jointed together, because I think Jose had a pretty decent split. I think Morgan started coming around in the end, and he's given the luxury of time. Quid trying to fit into a new environment, fine, but I need Quid to stabilize just a little bit. But for a TL organization that clearly with this roster is trying to make worlds, and missing worlds for them this year would be a massive problem. I think even missing MSI would be a massive problem. If you're not close, like very, very close, and the top three is competitive, you look at this bot lane, if they don't rebound, and say, okay, I don't think Yon's going to be the one that you pull the trigger on. I think it's Core JJ that you find a replacement for, and see if Core can go into the coaching role. Like that's where I'm thinking this goes if they cannot put it together. But they are very much on the hot seat. You cannot not be the best bot lane in the league. Sure, Berserker might be a better late game carry. I will give him that. But like up to 20 minutes, no, there's no reason why you should be losing any of these lanes at all. My next one, we're going to take it organization-wide a little bit. We're going to go Dignitas' social media team, because now you got your full squad here if you're Dignitas. Now, am I expecting them to make worlds? No, not at all. That's not what you should be looking at this project and saying that, like, that's the goal here. What you should be doing is hoping to build a brand, whether that's around a player or carve some sort of identity for yourself. I want to see your viewership this year pop off in your content, because the whole point of bringing back basically this old NRG squad was that it was familiar faces that people could eventually buy into, and then buy into your org. I want to see content. I want to see a ton of outputted content that tries to give us a sense of what Dignitas is going to be for the next 4 to 5 years. Okay. I want you building a long-term program that makes me think that you want to be here forever, beyond just like making these moves. Like, it's one thing to say that like you brought in these players for a reason. Now you need to prove that, because we know they aren't going to win it all. So you need to be angling yourself as an org with that in mind, and doing what every other org does whenever you're competing for, say, 5th, 6th place is not going to cut it. It's really not. So for me, I actually, you know what? I'll extend this beyond like the socials team. Like, I know Jonathan's new there, and that's fine, but like, as an organization, you need to show me that if you commit to a vision, whether that's with like the players and beyond, that you are able to execute on that. If you're not able to execute on that, then I lose faith in you as an organization. And I'm happy with the partnership that they did with Tier 2. Think that's a great first step and a good sign of commitment. But now make content out of those players. What, like, you have a partnership with them, highlight them, do everything you can to add to the publicity, and make yourself somebody that people want to talk about is the big thing. So yes, the org is very much on the hot seat for Dignitas. Like, I don't know what else to say on that front. The 4 orgs that I'm excluding here in terms of Sentinels, FlyQuest, Lion, and DSG, I think all have good things going for them. I don't think anybody in particular on those orgs is in a hot seat relative to where they are within the league, especially like Lion 1. Sentinels looks pretty promising given their early start. FlyQuest has rookies. Nobody's on the hot seat. They all get time to develop. And similar thing for DSG. Like, their first split bought them enough time. The final hot seat is going to be the LCS itself, which it has never really like lost the hot seat, but there's an important number to keep in mind here, and that is the spring fall off typically happens pretty drastically for every region across all esports, where you see this decrease in viewership in spring. And given that our lock-in average was, I think, still right around 80K, I'll have the numbers on screen over here and you can see the comparison split over split. I want us to try our best to hit a average concurrent viewership that is equal to what lock-in is. I want to try, like, I know that sounds like a impossible, daunting task. Like, I promise you, everybody at Riot that is listening to this, or like commissioners and beyond, just rolled their eyes and went, really, dude, you're asking us to do something that we haven't done in like ever. Like, it's literally never been done. It's like, okay, well, you're also at a base that's under 6 figures of average viewership. It should be easier to do that now than it ever has been before. And you need to show that we can keep people around, because we can't afford to lose viewership. I'm going to be doing my best to funnel everybody into obviously my watch party, especially when it's Team Liquid focused, and really making sure that we push like the Team Liquid Alienware side of things, as well as New York City watch parties, which, by the way, we'll be having one this Sunday. I know it's Easter. I probably won't be co-streaming on Saturday because my family's coming in town for the holiday, and I'm going to go golfing with my dad on Saturday. So if I get to co-stream any bit of the LCS on Saturday, I will do my best to, but no promises on anything. Family does come first. This is one of those weeks that it just is what it is. Again, this isn't a full-time job for me, just making that clear. But we have this road show at the end of the split to build towards, which I'm hoping we sell out. We still don't know the venue itself. We don't know the capacity. I think that's like a really big benchmark there. But that average viewership, we got to try and keep consistent. I don't think I'll panic all that much if the drop-off is like single digits percentage-wise. But overall, I think it's a realistic and attainable goal if we push content and push ourselves, and the league is entertaining and the personalities embrace it, to keep our viewership the same, split over split. Especially because there are going to be some hype best of 3 matchups throughout this entire thing, where I think things will be pretty equal. So is it a little bit unrealistic to ask for something that's never been done? Yes, but if you don't push yourself to do things, you're never going to achieve anything in life. And we're trying to buck a death spiral here. Yeah, it takes a little bit of pushing boundaries to make that type of thing happen. Anyways, that's it for all of my hot seat items. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. On Wednesday, we'll be back for the Team Liquid Alienware series. It is a fan series that just goes into everything about the org, everything about the League of Legends program for the upcoming week and beyond. If you've watched the Rendezvous on this channel, it's the same concept, but obviously now for Team Liquid, I have a really cool intro that I might do some sort of challenge. I released the intro like a day prior to generate some hype, but we'll see. If this video gets 200 likes, if it gets 200 likes, I'll drop it immediately on Twitter. And then Friday, we'll be back for the pit.